Alright, Shalom. All praises goes to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakadash. The wonders goes to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone from whom I learned the truth. And much love and peace and blessings goes out to all you hope for elect brothers that are teaching the word of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. So, pretty much it's going to be a lesson. I'm entitled Esau, Edom, is the root of corruption. Because when you look at these devils that rule this earth right now, and the condition of the earth under their authority is in complete chaos, and it's in wickedness against the Most High. It's in wickedness against the Heavenly Father, because the things that are written in the Bible, what you have to understand is the Bible is a book of commandments and laws and guidelines for humanity to live. And it first starts with Israel, but when Israel is placed in rulership, the whole earth is going to be forced to be under this vibration, including the heathen. So the Bible is truly a guideline of how to rule the earth, but when you look at the current rulership, it's ruled in wickedness. You have things going on like pedophile rings. Huge example of that is the consort or the ex-girlfriend that was pretty much implicit with Jeffrey Epstein just got arrested recently. If you check out Jeffrey Epstein, he was running pedophile rings for some of the most elite governors and people in the government throughout the earth. And mainly, you know who he was mainly associated with? Other so-called Caucasians, Edomites. So these people, they're the devil. And that's something that's hard to be understood from the majority of people, because what proves the fact that most people don't understand this man as a devil, because they protest and they're in awe over this man's actions when he shows his wickedness, such as like police shootings and things of that nature. Most people can never attribute the so-called Jew and the rest of his people, the Caucasians, the American so-called white people, as being the devil. They can expose certain heinous acts that he does. You know, they'll expose the fact, like the guy Professor Griff speaking about the so-called Jew, how he runs the music industry, which pretty much funnels poison to our people. But he would never admit, he doesn't know, or at the very least, he would not admit that this man is the devil. And he is the root of the reason why the earth is in such a point of decay and disaster, morally. So, let's go to a few precepts. Let's go to, matter of fact, let's get Job 9 and 24. Let's go to Job 9 and 24. Job 9 and 24 says, earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the earth right now is given into the hand of the wicked. What's that word for wicked? What does it mean to be wicked? The word is in Hebrew is rashai, and it means a criminal, a guilty one guilty of a crime. So you have criminals ruling the earth. In other words, when you say wicked, it's criminals. Criminals, not according to their own system, but according to the system and the outline that the Most High set up. So what? Meaning what? They promote adultery, which is women sleeping with men besides their husbands. They promote things like divorce. Divorce courts are a multi-million-dollar industry. They support the emasculization of a man. Because when you look in the scriptures, men were made to be manly. The scriptures talk about the manliness of Judah Maccabees and his warriors. But under this devil, he effeminizes men with their food and how he programs men. You know, in all kind of manner, like the LGBTQ. That's a crime according to the Most High. So we have indeed criminals that are against the laws of the Most High that rule this earth right now. So let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse, start at 1. It says, and happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, right? And Alexander, the son of Philip, is a man to this day who's well spoken of in Esau society. You know, when you get into his history classes from the time you're a young child until pretty much you're done with his school system, he teaches you about Alexander. It says had smitten, and this is written in the scriptures. This is written in a book that dates back thousands of years ago, right? Which further validates the it validates the Bible. These histories that you can go into. It says, who came out of the land of Kedem, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was alive. And these servants were known as the successor kingdoms. You have, let's look up successor kingdoms. Alexander. They were called Diadochi. So you had uh, Antipater, Perdiccas, Ptolemy the First, Seleucus the First, Antigonus, and Lysimachus, right? So, and the most prominent out of all those three were Ptolemy, Seleucus, and Antigonus, and Lysimachus. Those four ended up creating those prominent kingdoms that were his successors, right? So let's go back. It says, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons many after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. So from this wicked rulership sprung forth evil, sprung forth murders and looting and pillaging and wars and death. So what the wickedness that you see on the earth is directly attached to the rulership. So just like back during this time, during the Greeks, there was evils multiplied. There's evils multiplied today, because they're the same people. And Esau, look, the Caucasians, so-called Caucasians today, these Edomites, they understand. It's well understood that the Greeks, Romans, and modern Edomites are all the same people. All right, hence, the same level of rulership, the same level of oppression. It doesn't change. So I'm going to get into a few articles which kind of exposes Esau's wickedness, right? You had this group called the Pedophile Information Exchange, right? The Pedophile Information Exchange was a British pro-pedophile activist group founded in October 1974 and officially disbanded in 1984. And you think that just because these devils disbanded in 1984 doesn't mean that their type of mentality doesn't exist today? You don't think some of these members are still living today? And this dude, Tom O'Carroll, which was a member of this shit, he's still alive today. And he went to Cambridge. He's the alma mater of Cambridge University, one of the most highly prestigious universities on earth, and especially out of Great Britain. He's the alma mater of Cambridge University, who's also a pro-pedophile. It says a lot. It says the group campaigned for the abolition of the age of consent. So they wanted to eliminate the age of consent. You know why? they could deal with little boys and little girls, and mainly little boys downwards to the age of 5, or infants and things like that. So that's part of the wickedness of Eve. Part of the reason why you have these things going on, because you have men that have authority and rank and influence in society, which to their spirit, they're evil. They're evil men. All right, and this is a precept I'm gonna get. Proverbs 21 and 10. It says, "The soul of the wicked desires evil." Okay, so that's desire. That's the desire of this man, to bring forth evil things on the earth. So there's nothing to be surprised at when you see the oppression, and you hear about groups like the CIA that are going about setting up coups amongst sovereign nations, sovereign rulerships. It's not a surprise. This man, he desires evil. It says his neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. And look at all these Karens, these Edomite women who's tripping online, you got Jake's posting videos of these Karens calling them all types of niggas, tripping for no reason, because though they don't care about the next person. That's just their spirit. Let's look up another one, another article I had. Uh, Look at this. It says revealed. U.S. government gave 3.7 million grant to Wuhan lab at Center of Coronavirus Leak Scrutiny that was performing experiments on bats from caves where the disease is believed to have originated. So I mean, the headline says it all, man. These devils and these Moabites are hand in hand. That's why you have this whole coronavirus situation, because Esau is at work. He's bringing wicked devices to pass, experimenting to purposely get people sick, passing viruses and disease through animals, and having that disease get even more contagious and deadly so that he can kill people. Because this man has a depopulation agenda. And when you, look, another word of saying depopulation is it's to mass murder. He has a mass murder agenda. See, because depopulation is the soft way of putting what these devils really are up to. They're planning to mass murder millions of people, right? So let's go to some more scriptures. Psalm 58, verse 3. Yeah, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands. No, Salakia. Verse 3. I was reading verse 2. This is verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So that's the wicked right there. They're wicked. They're the devil. They're estranged from the womb, meaning that they're corrupt, and it's in their spirit to be against all forms of righteousness. They come out hating Jacob, which is these so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They come out with thoughts of homosexuality, thievery, pride. Okay? So this is book of Genesis chapter 6 verse 11. It says, and Noah, no, verse 11 says, the earth also was corrupt. No, it's read verse 1. It says, And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and took them wives of all which they chose. So this is the time period of what they call pre-diluvian civilizations, which means before the flood. So before the flood of Noah, what was going on earth is you had three races of men. You had the precursor to the Israelites, which Noah was of this line, was the sons of God. You had the precursors to the Edomites, which was the sons of the wicked, which were the sons of Cain. Then you had the rest of the nations, which they call the sons of men. So basically you had the sons of God getting and sleeping with the sons of the daughters of men, and that caused these sons of God to fall. They was worshiping the idols of these other nations. It says, And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, they bare children of them. The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So this wickedness, what the scriptures don't mention is the influence of Cain, the influence of the Tubal Cain and Lamech, these sons of the wicked that were living at this time. They were corrupting the earth as well. Because if you read down, verse 12 says, or verse 11, the earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And who was the first violent one? It was Cain. Cain set the example of what it meant to be violent. Why? Because he killed Abel. If you understand, and I want to show brother something going into the names of these different descendants of Cain. Because if you go into Cain's name, I believe it's Canaan, Salah. Let's see here. Kwayan, Sanak. It's not Canaan, it's Kwayan, which means a weapon, a stabbing instrument. And that's the weapon he used to kill Abel. So it mentions Cain's descendants. It says, verse 16, And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch, and built a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. So let's look up that word for Enoch. It's Kanawak, and it means initiated, from H2 Hanak, which means to properly narrow figuratively to initiate or discipline, to dedicate, to train up. And what was this man's seed dedicated to? They were dedicated to wickedness, right? Esau was dedicated to wickedness, and he always has been. Let's look up. We could look up these words, precepts that go into kind of how Esau is dedicated. Nah, really, there ain't much scriptures that go into it. So let's just go back. Let's go back. It says, and unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begat Mehujael, and Mehujael begat Methusael, and Methusael begat Lamech. So let's look up some of these names as well. And you got Irad, which means fugitive. Just like Cain, he was prophesied to be a fugitive on the earth. This is the spirit of these Edomites. When you're a fugitive, you have committed a crime, yet you're on the run. You haven't received your punishment for your actions as of yet, and that's Esau's spirit. He's a criminal. As when you go into that word Rashai, it's criminal. And you have Mahujael. Mahujael is Machawa Ya'ala, which means smitten of the Most High. Okay? Because look, who's smitten of the Most High? Cain, he was smitten in his flesh with a mark, and that mark was the lack of pigment. And likewise, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to smite these devils again. Just like he said, the scripture said, the Lord smote Leviathan. The Most High is going to smite this devil again. He destroys him with thermonuclear missiles. So, let's go to Methuselah. It's Mathawash Mathwasha'ala. Man who is of God. And that's a false thing. But who's Esau's God? His God is Satan. Because Esau portrays himself as a man of God. But nonetheless, what is he? He's a demon. You know, he portrays himself as the angels. So these things are in Esau's spirit. It says, and Methuselah begat Lamech. And Lamech is from the Hebrew word Lamach. It says from a root of uncertain meaning, but it says powerful. Son of Methuselah of the race of Cain, well known for having misused the arms which his son had invented. And what's that misuse of the arms? He was killing people. Alright? So it therein shows you the role that Cain's descendants had to play at that time before the flood. They were slaying men, killing men, committing adultery, being homosexuals. And if you read more, if you study these names, it kind of reveals Esau's spirit even more, which I won't get into right now particularly, because I just want to, get on with the lesson and get other precepts. So let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 9. It says, "Covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion. The iniquity of the soul drieth up, and the iniquity of the wicked drieth up his soul." And that pretty much so-called white man, his portion was the land of Edom, and he wasn't satisfied, which caused him to conquer and pillage and destroy. That's why he left Europe and hopped on a boat and fucking came over here and slaughtered the Native American Indians. And as well as he did, his covetousness led him to enslave the southern kingdom, which is the kingdom of Judah. This is all through this man's policy because he's not satisfied with his portion. So I want to get one more precept. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 1. It says, "Hear therefore, O ye kings, and learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth. Give ear, you that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest." And if you understand Esau's blessing, he was given the rulership for a particular time. But his rulership is going to be ended because he rules the earth in wickedness. He promotes straight up confusion. Though the scriptures say the Most High is the head of man, the head of the Most High is the head of Yahushua. Yahushua is the head of man, and the head of the woman is the man. But Esau confuses those roles. He takes the Most High and Yahushua completely out the picture and puts himself as that head over the creation, and then puts women over men. That's why Esau, through his commercials and this system he set up, really appeals mostly to women, because he knows women will feed into his madness, just like Eve fed into the madness of the serpent. It says, because being ministers of his kingdom, Salakia, it says, Sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels. And Esau's counsel has been searched out. It's being found as being wicked. That's why this whole COVID-19 thing is exposed as a scam, as a hoax. He's having millions upon millions of people right now lose their jobs. They're not able to take care of their families. Millions of so-called black women and even other people are at threat of being evicted from their houses, all because of a fake virus which this devil put out there. It says, because being ministers of his kingdom, you have not judged aright, nor kept the law, nor walked after the counsel of the Most High. Horribly and speedily shall he come upon you, for a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places. And who's in that high seat right now? Esau, Edom, the fourth beast, the dragon, all right? Leviathan, in the spiritual sense, the serpent. That's who's ruling right now. And he's going to get a swift, speedy judgment in the form of World War III and then the thermonuclear missiles, coupled with Yahweh Shai coming back. Coupled with, and Yahweh Shai, when he comes back, it's no talking. Yahweh Shai is going to be killing men. All right, so all praise goes to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakwadash,